Today we have chapter 3 of marketing, and chapter 3 is related to marketing environment. Marketing environment means the forces that exist in the environment and affect the organization. Any organization operates in a place or in a city or in a country. There are a lot of forces that influence this organization. We can say that we have two main forces. The first group of forces, which is the external forces, and the second one we will call it the internal forces. And in marketing, usually we call the external factors or the external forces, we call it the macro environment, and the internal forces usually we call it the micro environment. So now we will discuss the two types of environments, which is the macro environment and micro environment. The macro environment, which is the external forces or external environment, consists of those forces that you can see here in the slide, and this is the political force and legal force, the regulators, the societal or the social force, technological force, and finally the economic force. Okay, those are the factors, the external factors that affecting the company. How can those forces affecting the company? Because the company operates in the environment. Okay, so we cannot separate the company from its environment. So for sure, if there is, for example, if we are talking about the first force, which is the political force, if there is any instability in the country, that means the country has some political problems or political issues, like what happened in Syria or what happened in Egypt or in Tunisia, of course the business sector will be affected. So the political environment or political factor is one of the most important factors that affecting the business at all. Okay, and we usually call it the external factor or external force because it's not affecting only one or two companies, it's affecting all the business sector. Okay, so if we see here, we will talk about each one of them. Okay. And these are the external factors or the macro environment, which is those forces that we mentioned. And the other factors, which is the micro environment or micro factor, those factors are the suppliers, the marketing intermediaries, the buyers, competitors, and organization publics. Okay, those are the micro forces or micro environment that also affecting the company. Why we call it micro environment? We call it micro environment because it's affecting only the organization. For example, the suppliers or the intermediaries, the buyers, they are all related to one company or one organization. And for each company or for each group of companies, there are certain micro forces or micro environment. So it depends on the organization, it depends on the industry itself. For example, we can say that each industry has its own micro forces. Okay, and we will discuss each one of those forces. Okay, how can we scan the environment, or how can we study those factors that are affecting the organization? We can study the factors by what we call the environmental screening or environmental analysis. We can analyze the environment by, for example, observations, monitoring the state of the environment, and also we can find the trade information by checking the data that exists in the internet, for example, or any trade organization like WTO or any other organizations that's responsible for the trade issues. Or we can also find the data that the government develop or deliver. Every government has a certain department or has a special department for providing data to the business sector. Like an example of the Ministry of Planning, for example, or the statistics department, the Saudi statistics department. Those departments are responsible for providing data that help the business and that help everybody that needs those data. And also the publications like the newspapers, the magazines. There are certain magazines specialized for the business. We can also check those magazines in order to find some information about the environment. And finally, we can make what we call it the marketing research. We will find a lot of information about the environment, especially if we make what we call the primary research. If we conduct a market research, we will find a lot of information about the environment, which is related to the external environment or internal environment. Market research is very important in marketing because using market research, all the companies or the big companies usually conduct market research, analyzing the environment and also analyzing their products and services, and also to study the customer. Sometimes the companies need to see if the customer is satisfied or is unsatisfied, or the products and services are good to the customers and achieving his or her need. So most of the time they discover those things using market research. So environmental analysis is a process of assessing and interpreting the information for accuracy, tries to resolve the inconsistency of data. Okay, as I said before, that we have two types or two environments. The first one is the micro marketing or micro environment. The micro environment consists of the organization itself. So we have two types of environments. The first one is the micro marketing environment, and this type consists of the organization, suppliers, customers, competitors, and government authorities, and the public. Those are the people that are surrounding the company, that exist near the company. Okay, and those entities affecting the work inside the organization. What we mean by the organization? We mean that the people inside the organization, like the employees, the managers, those are the people that work inside the organization. So the organization itself is one of the micro-marketing environment. The top management, for example, the finance, the purchasing department, manufacturing, all of these departments affecting the company. If the company, if they have shared idea or shared value that the company is working in a good condition, okay, then the company will grow. Okay, if they are, for example, if their performance is good, if we need to measure the performance of the employees inside the organization, and if we find that the performance of the employees and managers inside the organization is good, that means the organization is good in the market, and also this organization can lead sometimes the market. Okay, as an example here, if we have any good company in Saudi Arabia, like for example, let us say in the banking sector, what is the best bank in Saudi Arabia? Maybe Rajhi or Samba or those big companies. Okay, they are leading the market. Why they are leading the market? Because the environment, the internal environment of the organization can lead the market. They have a culture, they have shared culture that we need to make our organization better in the market. Okay, and we need also to lead the competitors. So the more this view of leading the environment shared between the employees, the more the company will be better in the market. Okay, so the organization itself affecting the environment inside the organization, affecting the organization. The second cause from the micro environment, which are the marketing intermediaries, and we already discussed the issue of intermediaries, and we say that the intermediaries are those organizations that exist in the middle between for example, the producer and the customer. All the organizations that exist in the middle, we call them intermediaries. Okay, like who? Like for example, the retailers, the wholesalers, okay, the agents sometimes. Those companies affecting also the organization. Here we are talking about the producer. Okay, we are discussing the producer point of view. As we can see here, marketing intermediaries are firms who make the product available to end consumers, including resellers or retailers, marketing services agencies, and also financial firms. Resellers are retailers, wholesalers, agents, brokers, and dealers. Okay, and sometimes we add also advertising agencies and packaging and design, financial facilitators or financial lenders or financial providers. Those intermediaries are affecting the organization. How can they affect the organization? If there is agreement, if there is good communication between the organization and those intermediaries, and they have shared view of serving the customers, then the environment, the organization environment will be good. Otherwise, if there is conflicts between those intermediaries and the organization, or between the intermediaries themselves, okay, between one intermediary and the other, then there will be a problem in serving the consumer, and this thing will affect the image of the producer, which is the organization that we are talking about here. So the more the communication is good between the intermediaries and the organization, the more the environment will be better. Here the buyers, we mean by the buyers, we mean the customers or the consumers. The buyers are the central part of the marketing. The buyers are the consumers, the final consumers or the end consumers. That the organization needs to serve those consumers or those customers. Next, the suppliers. The suppliers also affecting the environment, the organization environment, because the suppliers are responsible for supplying the company or the organization by the raw materials or by spare parts that are used in the manufacturing or used in service providing, for example. So those suppliers affecting the marketing environment in the same way as the intermediaries. If there is agreement, if there is good communication between the suppliers and the organization, then the environment will be good. Otherwise, the environment will be, or the image of the producer or the company in the eye of customers will be bad. And finally the competitors, and the competitors are those companies that work in the same industry and producing the same products or providing the same service. Those are the competitors, and they are also affecting the environment by, if we have a lot of competitors inside the industry or inside the market, then there will be a lot of conflicts between those different competitors. So if you can see here the two important considerations for the competitor. The first one is the competition stems not only from like-to-like firms or direct rivals. There are substitute solutions to monitor and new entrants to participate. That means we are not facing competition from the companies that are providing the same service, but we also can face competition from the companies that provide substitutes or substitute products. As an example here, you know that the companies that are providing telephone services, if we say that the telephone service, the landline, the landline telephone, not the mobile telephone, the landline telephone. If we imagine that the company who provides the landline services is different than the company who provides the mobile service. So if there is a competition between the companies that provide landline services, then also those companies will face the same competition from also the mobile service providers, because you know that the mobile service is a substitute for the telephone, the landline telephone. It's substitute. So if there is any new technology, that come in the market, also we face competition from those companies. We are not facing competition from only the companies that are providing the same products or service. Another example. You know that a long time ago we used to have desktop computers, and when the laptop computers developed and put in the market, at that time most of the people converted to laptop because of laptop that easy to use and not heavy like the desktop. You can take it anywhere. The companies that develop or that manufacture the desktop computers faced competition from those also companies. So most of the companies that were producing desktop computers, converted also to the laptop and also manufactured laptop computers. So this is the risk of the substitute. If you have any substitute products, then you need also to analyze or think of these competitors. The next point here is that organizations' own position, resources, market standing, capabilities, strength, and competitive advantage help over rivals. This is the competitors' force. The main thing here, the main point here is that all of these forces need to be analyzed, need to be studied very well in the environment. Okay, finally the publics also. The publics means the people that are surrounding the business, like for example the financial publics, media publics, government publics, citizen action publics, local publics and internal publics. A public here is any group that has an actual or potential interest in the impact on an organization's ability to achieve its objectives. Okay, so by finishing the publics, we finish the micro marketing environment. Okay, and let's go to the second environment, which is the macro marketing environment or macro environment. And as we said before, that macro environment is the wider picture, okay, the wider image of the environment. We can use some tools to analyze the macro environment, like for example PEST, or if you remember in B203 you talked one of the tools that's used to analyze the macro environment, which is the STEEP model. Okay, and the PEST model is the same as STEEP model. It consists of the same factors or the same components. Like for example, here the PEST, for example, consists of political environment, economic, social, and technological development. So these are the components of the PEST analysis. And STEEP model, if you remember, STEEP model consists of sociological, technological, environmental, economic, and political. So they are the same thing, except that in the STEEP model we have additional factor, which is the environmental factor. Anyhow, you can use those tools, or you can use one of these tools to analyze the macro environment.